The thing is, the only thing constant is change. The recession, global or national disasters that affects us from time to time forces men to be creative, and we see this as an ongoing pattern. Welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Today we have another video again from Automotive News. As you know, they're the leader in distributing automotive news worldwide, so I find their articles very interesting, and as usual it goes along with my niche right here which I'm trying to build. Thank you again for all the support, everyone who has tuned in for the past year as we continue to involve this channel and have our say in the automotive world, at least for the little people like myself. Today's topic will be labor shortage hits manufacturing plant. As you know, car prices have been going up due in part to the pandemic, and there was an upsurge in the amount of people going out to apply for jobs particularly. However, workers are now pushing back because they now demand better pay. With high inflation, high prices, a recession is on, people are now wondering what next for them. All across various industries, a lot of people are taking stock of their lifestyle and their choices and the way to move forward. Now, it has been a challenge, especially in the automotive industry, because it was hit with the pandemic affecting the lockdowns and everything else, which caused chip shortage, part supply, and effectively the supply chain. These are some of the things that will come out in this video, so let's get right into it.
Way of life. Assembly plant employees traveling 50 or more miles to work. That's because many automobile manufacturers built their plants in geographically isolated parts of the Southeast and Midwest, like Volkswagen in Chattanooga and Toyota in Indiana. They did so because land was cheap and plentiful, and they knew workers would make the long drive for good paying, steady jobs. But now it's much harder for automakers to find enough workers willing to make that long trek. High gas prices, low unemployment, the pandemic, and changing demographics are to blame. So the companies are getting creative. In Tennessee, Volkswagen's chief operating officer hopes that providing transportation will help.
So for the first time, we cast our net a bit wider. And so for some of the outlying towns around here, Cleveland, Delton, and so on, we have actually even set up busing services to bring folks in. The extent to which those were utilized remains to be seen. I don't know yet exactly how many of the 1,600 people will be coming from those areas, but it's a first for us.
The
thing is, the only thing constant is change. The recession, global or national disasters that affects us from time to time forces men to be creative, and we see this as an ongoing pattern. When I worked at a dealership back in the early 2000s, we were probably one of the only dealerships that provided transportation for our staff. The dealer was situated in a particular location, but however, most of our team members resided outside of the geographical location of the dealership, and the public transportation was not really dependable for them. So in order to incentivize them, we had to do what we had to do at the time that we saw best. So this was one of the incentives we put forward in order to let the staff know that we cared about them. Let's continue.
It has up starting wages from $14.50 when the plant opened in 2011 to $21.50 an hour today. Meanwhile, in Indiana, the president of Toyota's plant there says they too have boosted starting wages as they try to fill more than 1,400 open positions by the end of the year.
So of course we've had to increase our starting wage. We've increased our hiring bonus. When you get on, if you're here for 6 months, you get a certain amount of money. If you're here for a year, you get a certain amount of money. And then we've also increased our top end wage. So we've had to be very competitive. And for Toyota, we always want to be competitive with them.
Another thing is best practices. It's all over the world. We see it every day. Some situations are not unique to any one country. In other words, do not reinvent the wheel, because what she's doing here, or what the previous clip showed, is that they're doing things that were actually done in other countries from before, because I have seen it firsthand and I was also a part of that.
In our community and within the auto market.
And Toyota says they'll help potential employees move there depending on how far away they live.
We're offering relocation packages for our production and our skilled team members. So if they're over 75 miles away, if they move within 45 miles of the plant, we offer them a relocation package. So we've had at least 150 people take advantage of that program.
It's crucial for automakers and nearby suppliers to solve their labor shortages. Supply chain shortages won't last forever.
Let me just interject before this video finishes. It's quite short. Of course, as a Toyota global ambassador, she would have been taught and indoctrinated by Toyota's philosophy and that of TPS, the Toyota production system. For those who studied business in college or university, you would have been apprised of the 4 P's of marketing, which is the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. However, in 2001, Toyota came up with their own marketing strategies called the Toyota Way in Sales and Marketing, and is comprised of the 5 P's: purpose, principle, the people, the process, and the practice. She knows firsthand that the process cannot be done without the people. The people are the one who drives the process. Later on, academia will then copy this same system that made Toyota so successful, and they implemented it. Product, the promotion, the price, the place, the people, the process, and physical evidence, called the 7 P's marketing mix. So things are always evolving as time goes by. And if you want a copy of this book, if anyone wants a copy of this book, The Toyota Way in Sales and Marketing, I'll be more than happy to send you one. Hit me up on my email, partsmanagerpro@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. Let's continue.
So when microchips and other parts start flowing again in great numbers, workers will be needed to get the assembly and component plants back up to full speed. Despite not having enough workers, creative recruiting efforts are beginning to pay off.
It's been very challenging, as you know. We're probably about 80 behind where I really want to be right now. But we continue to see more and more progress with the amount of members that are applying and how many we can get through the pipelines.
I'm Kristen Strakalaitis, Automotive News.
And remember, with low shortage or low supply, there will always be an increase in demand and ultimately an increase in price. So it never stops. Engineers build, mechanics maintained, what the world takes for granted. Let's start the conversation below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Thank you. Until next time.